No, that's Venture Brothers. Can't do Venture Brothers.
Yeah, can't say hi because the Venture Brothers podcast has trademarked it.
Yep, that's how that works. Fuck, what was it? Oh, Captain, my Captain. That's what it was. Oh, Captain, my Captain. Welcome to After the Hype.
Aww.
Me, your host, is always Brian Dressel.
I'm
with
standing
me.
on the table.
Oh, Captain, my Captain. Everyone always goes Dead Poet Society. I always go Family Guy.
Dead Poets.
I could be a hooker?
What?
Jeez.
I don't even know what the episode you're talking about.
Oh, it's so good. Anyhow, me, your host, is always Brian Dressel. With me, as always, is CHEWIE Darso.
Hi.
And Jonathan Hardesty.
I'm here.
You're not here. You're there.
Where is here there?
Here is here. There is there.
What is
Soon.
I don't
Oh,
care.
sorry. I was doing a Mel Brooks joke in place of this.
It worked tremendously. This week on After the Hype, we are talking so ever lively about Captain Marvel.
that? Marvel.
The marvelous Captain Marvel, who marveled at the marveling.
Marvelous.
It's...
Marvel. Yeah, are they... What's the... Marvelite? No.
Nope.
The band.
Marvelettes.
It is Marvelettes?
Marvelettes. Yeah, but before we do, of course, we got to talk about where have you been doing? That worked in a way. I don't know why I'm talking like this.
I am Brian, a robot.
I am excited to podcast. All right, I will go first. I have read, in its completion now, Tom King's magnum opus, Heroes in Crisis, for DC Comics. And it was a tremendous disappointment. I would say one of the most disappointing comics I have read, and I can't even tell you how long. Given how good it was in the beginning and how it ended, and his blatant disregard for Wally West and for things that have been a long-standing thing in comics, especially in DC, his flippant, just murdering of characters and then bringing them back on a whim. There's just a lot of problems through and through and through, and I'm just kind of wowed by the whole thing. I can't believe this came out. Especially how good the first, I want to say, 3 issues were. I was into this. And then, mother of God. So the short pitch, and I won't keep you too long on this one. Basically, Heroes in Crisis is a what happened if superheroes had feelings for all the stuff that they've been doing. We've seen Man of Steel, we've seen all these superhero movies where basically cities are dismantled and there's no way, no matter how many times they tell us there's 0 casualties, that people die. That's what happens in these situations, and that would obviously weigh on these people if they are good people. What do you do when you need help and you're one of these people? That's what the story was pitched as. Basically superheroes with PTSD. I'm into that.
Okay, yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah, it's written by a guy who's had PTSD. He's a former CIA agent, and he's seen some shit. Tom King is a marvelous writer. I think he's great. But my God, this book just fell apart. It felt like every issue past 3 was issue 1 in a new story, and none of it really connected. None of it really made sense. And they decided, I'm spoiling here, so, skip ahead 30 seconds if you're really looking forward to reading this for some stupid reason. You made Wally West the villain, and Wally West is fucking the hero of DC. He is hope, the embodiment of hope, and to make him the guy who murdered everyone is just what the fuck?
That just speaks to the writer and how they view life, pretty much.
Yeah. I'm
They
very upset about
probably
it.
hate the ending of Rogue One.
They probably hate the ending. I could see that.
What did they give us? Hope. And he's like, I'm going to murder your hope.
I guess
Fuck
that Wally
you
doesn't
and
like
your
hope, huh?
Yeah, fuck.
I'll tell you where to
man.
shove your hope.
It was just upsetting. And I'll give it this much. Clayman, the artist for, I think, all of the issues, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure all of them, is just phenomenal. He draws each character very distinctly and different, and a lot of comic book artists that I love, and I think they're fantastic, always has a little bit of sameness in some of the faces and some of the body types and whatnot, and Clayman does not fall into that at all. Everybody looks distinctly different, and I think that's impressive in and of itself.
And he's not the one that did that stupid Poison Ivy cover, right?
What's the stupid Poison Ivy cover?
The one where her hips are thrusted up like you'd have sex with her corpse.
No, that was not Clayman.
It's a stupid cover.
I forgot about that one. That one was rough. Oh, there were some rough things in this series. But it's done
That's
now.
too bad.
It's
too bad.
over. Yeah, it is. But I mean, Tom King and Clayman are teaming up again for a book in January on Batman and Catwoman and that failed marriage from issue 50, and I'm actually looking forward to it. Like, that's a storyline I'm into, and if it means more Clayman drawing Batman, then I couldn't be more excited because he's just fantastic.
Clayman draws Batman.
I didn't even think about that. I'm even more excited.
That is amazing.
Now.
That's an amazing thing.
Every single
I
page
just heard.
is gonna be brown. It's gonna be great.
It's going to mimic other
That's
comic
what's going
books.
On with Clayface.
Yeah.
He's turned into an artist.
Well, that makes
He's
more sense.
expressing himself.
That's gonna be it for me. You were about to say something when John so rudely interrupted to go, make the episode sound better. What were you going to say?
Well, I haven't really been able to do much independently lately. So when we were on the flight back from Minnesota, I watched Wall-E with Corin with no sound. And if you're going to watch a movie with no sound, Wall-E's a pretty good movie for that.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Pretty fantastic.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I mean, the sound design of that movie is impeccable and amazing.
Yeah.
But the fact that it works so well, it's impressive.
Like, even once they get to the actual people stuff, you can pretty much guess what they're saying.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it for a moment afterwards. I think there could be a solid argument that every Pixar movie could be played entirely silently and you get the whole story.
Not every. I don't know if you'd really understand Brave too well without words.
Brave, Incredibles, there's the ones that center around people, probably not.
Yeah.
Well, with the accents on Brave, you kind of have to.
I liked it in Wreck-It Ralph 2. It's the only thing I liked in Wreck-It Ralph 2 was her accent in that.
That scene was too short, but hilarious.
Yeah. Oh my god, it was so good. What is she saying? We have no idea. It's just...
But no, I really enjoyed rewatching Wall-E. There's a lot of cute moments I didn't remember. Like I didn't remember his getting that. I mean, it's really early on when he finds the hubcap and he tries to use it as a hat on the dance sequence. Like I was like, oh, that was a cute moment I totally forgot about.
Yeah, it's adorable.
I haven't rewatched the movie in ages, so it was really nice to revisit it. I highly recommend a revisit.
John, what about you? Where have you been doing?
So I've been neck deep into the Sookie Stackhouse novels, the Southern Vampire novels, and I've been having a really good time with them.
John,
actually,
you do the rest of the review as a Southern Belle.
Oh, please no. I can't take the Southern accent ever again. The cringe that you couldn't see on my side of this was real.
Fine.
Hey, I'm not making my living doing voice acting, so.
Nor would you.
That was my audition tape, and I failed. But it's okay to feel bad.
Don't crush John's dreams, Brian.
Someone should.
Right,
thank you, buddy.
Sorry.
Anyways, so I read the first three. I'm through the first three right now. Dead Until Dark, Living Dead in Dallas, and Club Dead. And yes, every title has dead in it. And it's amazing. It's really fun. And we're at the point now where the TV show starts to kind of go off the rails and not be good. And the books are still really entertaining. And I think it all kind of boils down to the voice of Charlaine Harris, who is like very cheeky and fun and has a nice touch of dark humor to this. And just there's a fun voice that makes the books fun through and through. And they're really short. I think it takes me about 8 to 9 hours on audiobook to get through them. Just absolutely nothing. I'm pretty much done and ready to jump on the next one before my time is even up at the library.
Then what do you think of the scenes when they describe Eric's butt?
They haven't really described a lot of his butt yet. I think they just...
I thought they did. Huh.
They started to a lot more. He factors a lot more into the second and third book and a lot more into the third book. So we got some good Eric butt action.
A lot more into the third book. Third gets into something. Might be Sookie.
I really don't remember this show, so I have no idea what you're talking about. Eric was it's Tarzan, right?
With Sarsgaard, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I really should remember Miss Tarzan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
the
movie to reference.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, he's a real fun character, especially as they give him more to do and take Bill away from the story a bit more in the second and third book. Eric is a really fun character, and they're all pretty fun. I think probably the bigger bummer, though, is they kill off Lafayette in the beginning of the second book. And he is just no more. And he was such a great mainstay of the actual show. And also, the books do not feature Jessica at all. She is not an actual character in the books.
Who's Jessica?
Nor is...
From Jessica Jones, right? I mean, Marvel.
No, no, it's the one that Bill has to sire. Played by Deborah Ann Woll.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not Jessica Jones. I knew what I meant. Marvel thing.
She's not in the books at all.
No. And even the reason for him trying to make another vampire, that's just not in there. And but on the flip side, Elvis is a character in here, but no one can refer to him by name because he was turned to a vampire right at the edge of death and in his drug overdose. So he's kind of a little crazy, but also really stupid.
Do they mention him being in Home Alone?
No.
Bummer. I'm never reading these books.
But they refer to him as Bubba, and everyone, like the author, just hints at the character's name throughout. Just never gives it. They never say Elvis, but they'll be like, "Oh, everyone recognizes him," or he'll start singing, and he has that upturned lip curl, and it's fun how they play the character through.
Oh, that's really cool.
That's amusing.
I think it's time to talk about Captain Marvel.
Well, there is no eroticism.
Definitely no Eric butt.
There's not a lot of butts in Captain Marvel. They don't really focus on anyone's butt.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Which is weird because it was set in the 90s.
Let's not talk about Captain Marvel anymore. I wonder if I could get people to listen.
If I could talk about Alexander Skarsgård's butt all day long, I wouldn't have any problem with that.
I wonder how much traffic we get for a butt podcast. We're here just to talk about butts. Anyone's butts.
Butt.
We call it the
butt,
Tina Cast. But before we dive too much into it, I do want to do a quick breakdown of what happened in the movie. And I'll do it really fast. So the movie picks up with Brie Larson on the home planet of the Kree, Hala, and she doesn't remember how she got to Hala, but the first thing she remembers is getting a whole bunch of blue blood. Moving forward from there, she basically gets kidnapped by the Kree. Well, not by the Kree, by the Skrulls. Skrulls say, like, hey, you got a bunch of memories in here that you don't remember. Here they are. And she starts remembering things. She goes to Earth. She finds out that she was a test pilot for a plane that went down after a shot by fucking aliens. And her boss and mentor was also a fucking alien. And she is trying to save other aliens from an alien war. And Captain Marvel has powers. And she's awesome. And she kicks everyone's butt who's evil. And saves the people who aren't. And then fucks off to space until Nick Fury calls her later. That's about it, right?
Accurate, 100%.
Yeah. I feel pretty good about that one.
Yeah.
But that was just my very quick breakdown because I could feel us going down a costume rabbit hole. And I didn't want to leave it, but I also felt like I should take care of that before we dive back into the hole. Because there is something I want to say about the costumes right up front.
Okay.
For those of you who read my athpod.com review, I love this movie. It's very obvious. You should go reread that review. And I did not talk about the costumes. Specifically one scene with the costumes, which has been driving me nuts since I saw it, and I should have put it in my review, and I didn't. Whatever. When she's kidnapped by the Skrulls, they take her shoes for some reason. And I'm just like Will Ferrell and the other guys, like, why'd they take our shoes? And that costume that she's in looks great with shoes. It looks fucking ridiculous without them, and it looks like she's running around in like a 3-year-old girl's pajama set, like, I want to be Captain Marvel, whee! And just the sound effect of like of her feet, like the whole scene just drives me nuts, and it's entirely because she's not wearing shoes, and I can't get past it. It's taken my review of this movie from like an A+ to an A, which I realize is not a big step down, but it's a step down, damn it.
That's a very interesting take.
Those would be strange pajamas. Like super strange pajamas.
They're a strange battle suit.
It's typical superhero fodder.
Whatever. They look like pajamas.
Although pajamas that can change color like that with just a flick of the wrist, that's pretty cool. I would kill for them. But I mean, those would probably be expensive.
You would murder for pajamas?
Your
bar is low.
Yeah, I mean, John, I never really thought of you as the fashion vixen type where you're going to go and murder for the name of fashion.
God, what is this, Neon Demon? Like, Jesus Christ. Murder.
Yeah, no. I feel very inspired by movies like that.
Let's spend the rest of the episode talking about this instead.
Neon Demon was all about women fighting each other and eating each other to stay young.
That's true. Not really fashion. Fashion's more of a subplot in Neon Demon. That's true.
Lofty goals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, now that you mention it, it does seem kind of weird with the whole, like, taking the boots off and just having the bare feet.
It's just
like, it almost kind of peels the curtain away from costume design.
Well, I mean, my joking aside, it did make the costume look cheap. And I know that's not a cheap suit at all. None of these costumes
The bigger problem that we have here is that she's wearing those boots without socks.
That's another problem. I didn't even think of. Maybe there's Kree socks built into the boots?
It strikes me that Kree don't do the socks thing. Something about the Central Intelligence being like, socks are stupid.
If
and they're like, okay,
socks,
master.
No foot condoms for anyone.
They don't wear underwear, I'm assuming, then either.
I mean, underwear feels pointless anyways. I wear it because I feel like I should. Like, I feel like if I wasn't to wear underwear, I'd just be like, guess what I'm not wearing? The whole day.
You just walk up to people, guess what I'm not wearing?
And I can't do that at work. I'd be fired.
Yeah. No wonder everyone in Anhala is angry. Yeah. They're not wearing underwear, and it's chafing like hell.
You should see the rash I have. You thought about underwear? The computer says I can't wear underwear, dude.
Yeah, Central Intelligence is like, let it hang.
Oy. Anyhow, so Captain Marvel the movie, the real movie that we watched. Let's just do a quick round the E-table, if you will. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of it. What were your guys' take? Yes, no, yay, nay?
Yeah, I was quite a fan of it.
I really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
I should say, really, just to throw it out there, because you know we all love her dearly. Sam, who's was a frequent co-host on this show, did not like the movie. I will not speak for Sam because I don't remember her exact opinion on it. But I know there are people out there who did not enjoy this at all. And one of them did and still does work with us at ATH. And she will be back for our After the Hype episode of Endgame, but that's coming much later on. Endgame. Next time we'll talk about
Endgame.
But the long and the short of it is I see some of the complaints of like people saying that it's boring or that it doesn't work or the 90s stuff was just a little bit too prevalent throughout the movie. And none of that really struck with me. I do agree in the 90s one to a point because it doesn't feel like they ever picked a year when technically it's 1995 because the ship goes down in 89 and then this is 6 years later. So that makes it 1995. But it never really feels like beyond just saying it's 95, it really just feels like a grab bag of 90s shit. And like the whole time Chewie's going through a phone like,
when did this come out?
So I guess that makes this October because that's when this song came out. But that doesn't really look like October. But it is LA, so who the fuck knows?
Well, they could have been advertising Melancholy Sadness early when she was standing next to the poster. It did come out October 11th, 1995.
I do think, though, what they were doing, too, is just keeping it vague enough, because even their Windows operating system that they were stuck on was ME, which was like 2000.
Yeah.
The biggest problem that I was able to find while checking things was when she is in the Supreme Intelligence near the end, and they're playing Nirvana, and I looked up that song. It came out in 1993, and she was supposed to be abducted in 89, so why the frick would this song be in her head?
Yeah, that's the thing, is like there's just these little things in it, and I'm not sure who to blame. Like, do we just blame us as fans, like because they told us it was going to come out in the 90s and we all grew up in the 90s? We're like, well, fuck you, I'll tell you what the 90s were. Or is it just that they sorry, go ahead.
I actually kind of think that I think that the reason they did that could be why it would be like why when we watch this movie we'll be like, oh, it's set in the 90s instead of that 90s movie Captain Marvel, is because we can't place it, so therefore it's not going to be so dated. Like it'll be dated in a way that like, oh, this is 90s stuff, but we can't lock it down to this feels like a movie made in 1998.
Yeah, and I don't know why that bothers me. Like, because I feel like I wish they'd just picked a year and stuck to it. Because like, otherwise, by not doing it, I'm left with this weird thing that I've never gotten any other film set in a like older time. But when the fuck is this? Because like, there's just little things that irked me, like when she lands in Blockbuster and she's walking by the row of the movies. I spent a majority of my childhood in Blockbuster. They alphabetized and categorized all of their movies, and the row of movies she walks by are just like, what the fuck? It's like Hook next to like that Whoopi Goldberg movie.
There's
Like,
probably a bunch of the favorite movies from the crew.
sure, yeah, that makes sense. But they still had to clear all those movies. Somebody had to go like, it doesn't matter. That doesn't make any sense. And like, but it did to me. And like, it's just like, but you're wrong. And like, I know I'm harping on the stupidest thing, and that's fine.
Well, then maybe here's another kind of counter theory to it that could be just what Disney is doing. They're trying to catch all of our nostalgia, and the only way they can do that is by breaking the timeline, so to speak. Like, they have to kind of bring everything that we remember, even in its vaguest forms. So we remember Blockbuster and Alphabetized, but it doesn't matter what the individual things are to them, because it's like, well, it's Blockbuster, so you're going to get hung up on Blockbuster. Ooh, it's Blockbuster. That's more my more cynical take.
No,
That's exactly what they did.
Yeah,
I mean, they stuck. Nothing that I checked was after 95. They did stick to things
They
95
did.
and earlier.
I think it's just because I'm so used to their attention to detail being down to like the fine-tooth comb of like, you can't, like, I want to scrutinize this and I can't. And this is the first one where like I can get really into the details because I have the history, because I was there. Like I lived this, which you can't say for 90% of comic book anything, that I can really dive into it and just be the stupid nerd fanboy who's ruining something that he would otherwise love. Like, it's my own fault. I get that. But it still irks me a little bit. Like I said, it's my own fault, and it's a stupid thing to complain about. But to my larger point, though, out of all of that is, then I must really love the movie. Because what I'm complaining about is the out-of-focus VHS tapes that she walks by for half a second in the movie. And I'm like, that was your problem there! And it's like, okay, but what about the rest of the movie? Oh, the rest of it was pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that your critique is a bit of a reach is actually a good review for the movie itself.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm going to force myself to critique things, I mean, the fact that her hair is always perfectly curled.
It's
marvelous.
It's marvelously. She always has the perfect amount of waves to her hair. She never puts it up in a ponytail or anything, ever.
She does at one point have to go to blow it out of her face.
Yeah.
I think that's just Brie Larson's special power or ability. Like, she can't get rid of that, and it's just in the like.
I mean, it's a
everyone's
silly
just used to it
because I'm pretty sure. I mean, yeah, there's no woman in any of these movies that ever has bad hair.
No.
Black Widow's hair, no matter what, even in like Winter Soldier, was straight.
Oh yeah, or
they
just
made sure that thing was flat.
Just think about Iron Man 2 with like the fucking huge hair that she had that she just whips it back and forth.
Stupid.
It's just like, wow.
I mean, Endgame was truly a daring film for letting her dye job grow out.
Yeah.
But it wasn't ombre. Like, it was done. Like, it still looked good.
So, it's Scarlett Johansson. What do you expect? And it's Brie Larson. What do you expect? She looks good 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Let's actually talk a little bit about the movie itself, because we're really on the nitty gritty stuff. And I know I just said I wasn't going to talk about anything in my review, but it's kind of
have to. Otherwise,
kind of have to a little bit, or we should just end it now. I want to talk about what I said way back in the day was my favorite thing in the movie, and that's the relationship between Sam Jackson and Brie Larson. And I realized they made a movie together right after this that Brie Larson directed, and we have a friend who worked on Unicorn Store. It's on Netflix. Check it out.
Samuel's in there?
Yeah, from what I've heard. I haven't seen it yet, but check it out. I think the two of their chemistry, I think that's the main reason I love the movie. They worked so well together.
Yeah, hard agree.
Yeah, they're just the way they just kind of played off each other. It was one of those things where it's like, I'm not sure if he was brought in for casting, because it felt to me like it was never much of a choice of who do we hire for Captain Marvel. It always kind of felt like, oh, Captain Marvel's coming up. It's going to be Katie Sackhoff. It's going to be me. Well, now it's not going to be Katie Sackhoff. So who else is going to be? Well, then I guess it's Brie Larson. And everyone just kind of agreed, and then we ended up with Brie Larson.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if Sam Jackson was ever brought into the equation. I'm not sure if it was ever one of those like, well, let's see how they play off of each other. I'd assume they did their due diligence and that sort of stuff. Or maybe they just got super lucky. But either way, I'm very happy with where it landed, because I think I would happily watch the two of them in anything now.
It's the relationship to them, to me, is interesting in the realm of all of the MCU movies with how we have known Nick Fury. This is really the only kind of go-lucky Nick Fury we've ever had. It's
definitely the most human we've seen him.
Yeah, he's been quibby in the other movies a little bit, but he's usually pretty stark military. And it's flipped in this movie because Carol, or Veers, is very much just the military one. Like, I'm on a mission. This is my mission. I'm gonna go after it, until she realizes that it's different and she gets more emotional. Just, it's interesting to see that, because with Nick Fury being casual, this is the only movie we've ever had him look like he's having fun, especially with the cat. Like, Nick Fury in any other version of these other movies wouldn't do that. He wouldn't be all, what is a kitty?
But there is something to be said that this is a younger Nick Fury.
Yeah.
This is 95, and we didn't get Iron Man to what, 2008?
Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so this
is...
I
definitely agree.
I know that it's but that's the interesting part.
Yeah.
It's getting to know him when he was younger and less cynical.
Yeah.
Or less afraid, or whatever would have caused Fury to be the way he is in the future.
And I think that's actually a really good payoff from seeing him up to the very end of Infinity War with the dusting, just seeing that pager thing. It's a great payoff to see him at a younger age, and it's almost, I believe that out of all the characters who've aged or not aged, his aging from Captain Marvel to the rest of the movies is believable. It works really well.
Yeah, I think it does. I think that,
and I think this movie does that. I think that this movie achieves that for that character, for him.
For me, it's more so just that it's not that the aging necessarily. Like, I see what you mean. I don't disagree with you. I think it's more that it's interesting seeing Nick Fury with somebody that he looks up to, especially with somebody who would be like Captain Marvel, who's just this space girl who fell out of the sky and can shoot lasers from her fists.
Yeah.
But it's just based on her demeanor and her willingness to fight and her attitude about fighting and what she's willing to do for other people that almost inspires him.
Well, he immediately recognizes her authority.
I wouldn't say immediately.
I mean, it's like, even when he first sees her in the thing, I mean, he knows who she is, and he's just kind of playing with her. Have you seen this woman fitting this description?
Yeah.
And he's just giving her the benefit of the doubt. But, like, you could tell immediately that he's like, okay, this girl's either crazy or she's military.
Yeah.
Like, and he says that I can spot a rogue agent or whatnot.
Yeah. Rogue soldier.
Soldier, and he never questions her in that regard.
No, and I really like that, because I feel like with Nick Fury with the rest of Avengers, he might respect them, but he doesn't look up to any of them. They work for him until they don't, and then they're just people that he tries to work with from time to time. Whereas with Captain Marvel, like, I legitimately got the feeling that he saw her as an equal, or more than.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very interesting character trait that we did not see from him in any other movie. And it just, to what John was saying earlier, that payoff then of, when Nick Fury needs help, who does he call?
Who are you going to call? Nick Fury.
Yeah. And I think that's really cool.
And it's definitely something that when I watched Infinity War, I was a little cautious for in terms of expectations for this movie. It just, how would it pay that relationship off? It's like, oh, he's suddenly calling in, convenient hero number 10 or whatever. And it's like, no, this movie actually kind of does the work necessary to establish that they're friends, they're colleagues, they're peers, and they have a camaraderie. And it was really cool how this movie does that.
Yeah, I do think there could have been, I mean, who knows, but I wish there could have been just a little bit more of just showing her capabilities more than just the last, say, 5 minutes. Because that would have explained a little bit more of why he goes immediately to call Captain Marvel. Because at this point, Nick Fury's seen everything under the sun. So we know as an audience member that she can fucking fly through a spaceship because we saw her do it. Fury was on the ground when that happened. So he didn't really see her just destroy an armada.
Saw streaks.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like there's a few leaps in there that I'm fine making, but I don't think it was fully there on screen. But that's fine. I can make the leap. The other thing that I wanted to talk about with this movie specifically was something that Chewie brought up when we were rewatching it last night. And it was something that didn't really click for me the first 2 times I saw it, but it did this time for sure, is this movie's really just about going against gaslighting. And that's kind of the through line of almost the whole film. But I'll let Chewie explain it better than I ever could.
Well, so essentially Captain Marvel's character is being gaslit by the Kree. They're taking advantage of the fact that she doesn't have any memories pre them taking her. So they just tell her who she is. They tell her they gave her all of her abilities. They tell her what has been given can be taken away. They tell her to watch her emotions. She can't trust her emotions. They're not right. Like, all the things that someone in a gaslit relationship will do to manipulate their spouse. You are nothing without me. You can't trust your own feelings because you are wrong. Like, that is textbook right there.
Yeah, it's you're being emotional. Like,
yeah. Stop being so emotional. And it's just... I can imagine that there could be people who are being gaslit and watch this movie and hopefully come to a self-realization and be like, wow, this feels familiar.
Well, and the thing that I like about it is that they do a great job showing it and not beating you over the head with it. And they come pretty close to that end montage. So they come pretty close to like, if you haven't got it yet, this is what we've been saying. Yeah. And it... Like,
the really good example of it is when she first calls Jude Law. I can't remember what his name is. After she goes to Radio Shack and she somehow figures out how to use that stuff in a payphone, and she's like, well, this stuff happened, and he's like, don't worry about that, it's not important, stick to the script, lady, is essentially what he's saying.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah. That's really what he's saying to her the whole friggin' time. And he's her handler. And then at the end, when she's with the Supreme Intelligence, it's saying, you can't fight us, give up. Yeah. Just give up, stop fighting it. And, she has her Christ moment where she puts her arms out, she rises above with her feet, crossed, and she's all like, ooh, godly, I have my powers.
I think you said it right the first time when we saw the movie. She had her art germ moment.
Well, that's when we're looking at the poster. And I'm like, hey, look at that, art germ. Seriously, you look at the poster for Captain Marvel, and I can just hear it in my brain of the graphic artist getting notes from the producers, and then a producer just comes in with an art germ cover and goes, just do that.
Just do that. He's really good.
But do Brie Larson's face, and maybe, make it a little less flowy looking.
Maybe. But yeah, I really think that it was an important thing, and I think the first time I saw it, I didn't really take it as gaslighting. I took it more as, which I should have. It's clearly just gaslighting, but I took it more in like the way of, and I think I put in the review of like everybody wants like her to prove something or wants her to think she has to prove something, which is essentially what gaslighting in a way kind of does sometimes. And I that's why I liked the end of the movie so much when he's like he's trying to do it again. Like Jude Law is desperate to
at the end. So he tries to manipulate her. Yeah.
Again, just like, and like he even does it. He's so fucking smart about it. Like it doesn't work, but like at no point do I ever go, Jude Law is a stupid villain. The whole way through, I'm like, no, he makes the right decision for almost every situation. It just, he loses. But the moment with the, I'm so proud of you. Like he's just playing into her. Because he's never given her praise. So at this moment,
that performance is so slimy and so good.
Yeah.
This is where you prove. This is it. This is mano a mano. If you can't fight me without your powers, then who are you really? Blah, 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 little speech.
Yeah, like, but it's like what John was just saying. That performance is so good. Like Jude Law just sells it. And he sells it in a way that I almost thought we were about to watch a fist fight. My second time, obviously, I knew it wasn't coming. But the first time I was sitting there, I'm like, I can't believe we're about to watch yet another fight here. Like, I feel like we just watched 20 minutes of fighting. Yeah. Like, we had an hour and 10 minutes of story, and now 20 minutes of fighting, and now we're going to do even more fight. Oh, nope, she just shot him with a laser.
Yeah, and I think that it's one moment in these Disney Marvel movies where the humor of it, the kind of the twist, the joke levity of it, the levity actually works for the movie and isn't just kind of slammed in there. And I really appreciated that. Like it felt so cathartic and so good to see her be like, I don't need to prove anything to you. Especially amped up with that moment of levity. It was really, chef's kiss.
Yeah.
But one thing that I really appreciate is she doesn't kill him.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that she shoots him. He's obviously very injured. He can't fight anymore. And she literally drags him back to his ship and throws him in it and be like, you're going to send a message.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that the weird thing is to me is she says, I'm going to come for you and all of Hala, and I'm going to destroy the Central Intelligence or whatever it's called. Later. Supreme Intelligence. And she makes it sound like she's coming soon. But then at the end of the movie, she's like, actually, I'm gonna go off with the Skrulls. I'm gonna find them a home. So it's just like Hala's going, well, when's she getting here?
It's building anticipation.
Or they're just looking at Jude Law going, fake news, Jude Law. She's not coming. It's been a long time.
Yeah. It's been a real long
Yeah.
time.
I also like it that they didn't kill a villain. And the more that they do that in these movies, the more that wins points for me, because it doesn't have to always end in death. And I feel like a lot of earlier Marvel films were like, that's kind of the route you had to go for these characters.
Yeah, and like I think the main reason why I liked it in this one more than the other ones is that none of these people, like the Central Intelligence for sure felt like a villain-esque thing, but not entirely the villain. And Jude Law, to me, I mean, you disagree with me all you want, like the internet mostly has. I don't really see as a villain. He's a soldier. He's doing exactly what he's supposed to do.
What he feels is the right thing to do.
Yeah, he is. And it's not like the Thanos in Infinity War of the hero in his own story. He is just a good soldier.
Yeah.
He's just fighting for the wrong side.
And she's an asset that he's supposed to control.
Yeah, so like I never see, I mean, yes, he's doing horrible, evil things, but I don't see them as malicious. I don't see him as going out like, yeah, let's kill some children. It's
the most malicious thing he does is when he goes, I'm losing control of the situation. Let's bring in Lee Pace. / I forgot his name.
Ronan?
The Accuser.
Ronan the Accuser.
Ronan the Accuser.
Yeah, I agree with that to a point, but even that one still feels like tactics.
Well, he's willing to destroy the entire planet to cover up his mess.
Sure, yeah, but that's when he's getting desperate. You're right, yeah. So there are moments of him being a villain, yes. But for the most part, I'd say soldier. Yeah,
I do think that having Ronan show up at the end helps to establish what we've said about Jude Law's character. That, like, yeah, he's not all the way the villain here. He is doing some antagonistic things. He's an antagonist, clearly, but it really grays that line a bit when you bring in the actual villain of Guardians of the Galaxy for this.
But even with that, it's like, because we're kind of circling here, but the thing is when Ronan says, tell me where she is, I'll go kill her, and Jude Law says, no, like, you're crazy, like, I'll handle this, you calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
Like, so I think there are moments that say, like, no, he's not necessarily a bad guy. He's just doing bad things, which makes him in turn a bad guy. But
I do hope in my little fantasy world that
he gets a better butt.
There's a lot of good butts out there. I mean, Jude Law can.
I don't need him to have a good butt.
I mean, he's a very good actor.
He is.
I hope that in the next movie that is still prequel. Will be Lee Pace / Ronan the Accuser, because I just really love Lee Pace, coming back to Earth to get Captain Marvel. Because he says that he's going to. He's like, we're going to come back for the weapon. And he's like, no, her. I forgot the line exactly.
Yeah.
That really, like, it really feels like an important, weighty moment. So to me, that implied that he might come back in another movie to face her.
Yeah, but that would have to be Earth, because I don't think she comes back to Earth until Endgame. So he could just find her out amongst... That's
fine. I just want... They would be an interesting fight. I'm just really curious where the MCU is going to go after this.
Isn't everybody?
Yeah.
They say they have a plan.
Well, their plan is to do more prequels.
I really hope not.
I mean, that's what they're doing in Black Widow.
Are they making a Black Widow movie? Did CHEWIE just say they're making a Black Widow movie?
That's what they say they're doing with Black Widow.
Quick page all the film blogs everywhere.
CHEWIE admitted
you heard
the
it
movie
here.
Might be real.
Might.
Oh, even though they're filming it right now and there are set photos and she still denies it. Oh.
You can do amazing things with Photoshop. Like de-aging Scarlett Johansson to be 14, because apparently that's what she would have to be in this movie.
Yeah, her timeline makes no fucking sense.
Yeah,
but whatever.
When you really think about the amount of history she's supposed to have with Hawkeye and Nick Fury, and then the amount of history she's supposed to have with being a spy, and the amount of training she went through when she was younger to be that spy, it's like, wait, how much time did she actually spend with all these people?
She had a crazy summer.
Yeah, because she was still in her 20s and freaking Iron Man, right?
It's that moment in Wet Hot American Summer where they go out on the field trip to counselors.
Yes, absolutely.
And they have that drug bender that takes weeks, and then they're back. This is a good 3
hours.
hours.
She's still in her mid-20s in Iron Man.
I don't know. I think it's time for quotes. Quotes?
Actually, she was mid-20s. She's like the same age as me.
She's a year younger than you.
She's a year younger than me.
Whenever bring it up, you go, shut up.
So I was 20. Math.
Math.
I was like 25.
I was 20 math when she was math.
Oh, math.
I dread the day Corin asks me for help with his math homework.
So she was like 24 when she was an Iron Man, right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
She was
yeah,
20
I'd
math.
believe you if you said
crazy
it.
shit happened in Budapest when I was 20.
I'm going to go first for
Yep.
quotes.
Math.
Quotes. Quote, unquote, quote, quotes. We never mentioned the Flurkin, by the way, which is kind of a disservice to
No,
this
that's
movie.
the kitty.
It's a cute kitty. You did mention the cat once or
I
twice.
did mention the cat.
Uh,
How Nick Fury was all, "Ooh, you go, boy, you boy."
Wow! There goes your eye.
Yeah.
We're all curious about how Nick Fury lost his eye. Turns out, kind of lame. Good comedic beat, but overall kind of lame. Anyhow,
Yeah.
Captain Marvel.
And really, I think the main reason he loses his eye is because he didn't get medical attention for it right away. He's just kept trying to say, it's getting better.
Yeah, totally. His overconfidence lost him an eye. That wasn't sarcasm. I actually agree with you. So quotes. Mine is actually a Nick Fury quote, so this works out. Mine comes from when they finally go to see Maria Lambeau, who we, again, didn't mention really anything about because we really just kind of scratched the surface in this one, because that's... Read my review. Maria Lambeau is phenomenal in this movie, and I really, really love her daughter, Riri. I'm just going to keep saying that it's Riri, because I really want her to be Riri. And Captain Marvel is just not giving one fuck about clearance or keeping things close to the chest or denying that there's aliens, and is just spouting everything out like it's nothing. And the daughter goes, "That's the craziest thing I've ever heard of. There's no way there's such things as those green aliens." And Nick Fury replies with, "That's right, young lady. There's no such thing, because if there were, that would be the type of things that we'd want to keep to ourselves."
Man, Riri really is like, she's gung-ho about everything.
Oh yeah,
Like,
she
if I'm-
rolls with it, man.
She rolls with it. I mean, shows us her mom.
I just love it when the thing turns back and she looks at him, he just shrugs.
Sorry, kid. I
doing-
wasn't your mom.
Just doing my
I
job,
know we had a
kiddo.
really sweet moment out there for a second, but it's a lie. My quote is from Talos, played by Ben Mendelsohn.
Fantastic, by the way.
Mr. I am the go-to villain, except not quite in this movie.
Another person we didn't
Jinx.
talk about at all.
Yeah. Well, I liked it when he found out that the lab was in space. And he goes
Oh
to
my
his
God.
science guy and he looks at him like, "Dude, you're supposed to be my science guy. You couldn't figure out that these were space coordinates?"
Science guy.
And the science guy just like, "Well, I'm sorry." Ugh.
I love that guy. He's funny.
I mean, like, it's such a cute moment, and it really, when you think about it, it really does show, like, the exhaustion that the squirrels must feel, that it's just like, fuck, another thing.
Yeah.
Ugh, everything's awful.
God damn it. John, what about you?
Yeah. So my moment is also a Talos moment. It's when they're in the cabin and he calls Maria a young lady, and she goes, "You call me a young lady again, and I'll shove my foot up somewhere it's not supposed to be." And there's this long silence before he just goes, "Am I supposed to know where that is?"
No, am I supposed
And
to
then-
guess where that
Oh, yeah.
is?
Am I supposed to guess where that is?
Yeah, guess where that is. And yeah, I just think that for me that was a really funny moment. Just
Yeah.
Which doesn't quite make sense to me, because he has a lot of Earth lingo before then, where he's talking about jazz hands and other things, and like,
Yeah. Oh, he falls into Earth logo real fast.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like, this movie requires a lot of just like, I know a lot of these things are super detail oriented. This one's just fun.
yeah.
Review system for this week. I was gonna do something stupid, and then I changed my mind. So I'm gonna do, how many cats would you give this movie?
And how many is a lot of cats?
It's up to you.
You can have
It's
a
your
lot.
rating system. I just said how many cats. I'll go first. I'd give this movie 0 cats, because it doesn't deserve any cats. Because cats are horrible, and this movie's wonderful.
okay, interesting. I'm gonna take an opposite tack with that because I think cats are all right and they're pretty cool. So I'm gonna give it, my 2 cats because they're pretty cool.
I do like your cats.
But your cats would not fight.
No,
Dave would be like, "What?"
No, they would end the war, not start it.
would you just rub my belly?
Rub my belly or
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
Rub my belly. I have a lot of hair. You can comb my hair. Rub my belly. Meow.
Oh man,
Yeah.
they would do so great in that final
Uh,
final third of the movie.
Yeah.
I would give this movie. Let's go with 16 cats.
That's too many cats.
And 6 of them are actually flirting.
I don't know if that's a good review or a bad review.
I think that's the cat version of Avengers right there.
Yeah.
I mean, the 6 are the superpowered cats, and the other 10 are normal cats, which is kind of how it goes in this movie a little bit. Not a lot of people don't have special powers in this movie, and a few do. They
Sure.
stand out. I don't know.
I see the review system. I disagree with it because that's too many fucking cats.
I'd hang out with those cats.
Ugh, no.
I would play how many things can we get the Flurkin to eat?
That would be a fun
Are they
game.
an endless void?
I'll give you that one. That's the end of today's episode. We're done talking about Captain Marvel. We did it.
We did it,
Yeah.
guys.
Next week, boy, am I excited to talk about this movie. I love this movie, and I hope you guys do too. And I have a feeling that you won't. I'm a little nervous, but it is the 2017 remake of Halloween. And by 2017, of course, I mean 2018 because I know what years are.
Years?
Math. 20 math.
It's 20 math, and I'm very excited to talk about this movie. I think it's great, and I think it's cool, and I think it's well written, and I think the editing's great, and I love the score, and I think it's going to be a fun episode. But I could be wrong about. I really appreciate your Friday the 13th reference while talking about Halloween.
I can't do Halloween. Halloween's too fast.
That is true.
I'm,
Don't even try.
How do you do it?
Math.
That was perfect.
Yeah. Wee woo woo.
I know it's high pitched.
Doink 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 doink.
That's closer.
That's closer.
But you made me think of Kung Pao Enter the Fist with wee woo wee woo.
Oh, crossover. Michael Myers and Kung Fu Hustle.
Kung Pao.
That's my Avengers.
Kung Pao.
My God, there's another double feature I was going to say, but look forward to the future for a double feature coming up, which I have not forgotten about. We will be doing, and I'm dreading every second
The
of
meaning
it.
of the Tree of Life.
The meaning of the Tree of Life. That's a great episode title. We're definitely using that for that episode. That is The Meaning of Life by Monty Python. The Tree of Life by Terrence Malick. One of those movies is amazing. One of them is hot fucking garbage that I'm told I'm wrong by my wife all the time. And of course, that is Tree of Life, the hot fucking garbage, the movie.
I'm on the Chewie side on that
You're
one.
both wrong. And I talk louder and faster than both of you, so that's going to be the opinion of the episode.
I can talk just as loud as fast as you.
What was that?
I can talk just as loud as fast as you.
Uh-huh.
If I want to.
Well,
if I
well-
have the energy. Remember my Unbound?
Unbound! Good point.
I honestly feel like Unbound is my greatest episode ever.
It might have been. Unbound!
That was pretty great.
But be sure to tune in for that. And I believe that one will be 3 weeks away if I can do math correctly, which I probably can't.
We went to art school.
It is. We went to art school. That is coming up down the pipeline, as well as what, of course, now we have to do. How did I already forget it? We were just talking about it.
Kung Pao and
Kung
Fu
Pao
Hustle.
and Kung Fu Hustle. Another great double feature.
Oh God,
Uh,
that'd be amazing.
it will be amazing because we're going to do
We
it.
should get Todd to be on it.
Oh, we should get Todd to be on it. Todd worked on it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he'll say yes, but we'll see. And yeah, let's do some plugs. Pluggity plug plugs. We're in season 5, the Venture Brothers now. Season 5 is a sadly short season, but it will be a very fun season to talk about. Some big swings taken in season 5, and it's the end of the compound. We're almost done with Venture Brothers as we know it. We're gonna move to New York.
It's pretty exciting. Yeah, no, it was the most shocking moment for me in the show where they switched from the compound to the not.
All this in Gargantua 2. I don't want to spoil it for everybody, but the compound gets smashed by a space
But
station.
the land is still there.
Yeah, but they moved to New York.
Okay, fine.
So that's coming to an end. Be sure to check out Samwise. She's been killing it on a weekly basis.
Yep.
If you haven't been listening to it, what's wrong with you?
You need life advice.
Find out
Everyone
by
does.
asking Samwise. Be a great question for Samwise. Why haven't I been listening to Samwise? see what she does with that meta thing.
Huh.
And be sure to check out, as of tomorrow, my goodness, ATH has a new show.
Yes, we do.
Damage Boost, coming to you from Brock Holiday. I believe his first episode has me on it, or D-Pad Gamer. I'm not sure which one's coming up first. D-Pad Gamer, a very famous YouTuber and Twitch streamer. You should check him out. He's awesome. And then if not, you know my voice, and we talk about video games and what it is to be a video gamer and a dad. And it was a very fun conversation. I'm really looking forward to this show. Ryan James, former co-host here, is helping him out with all the editing, and they're doing a great job. I can't stress enough. Be sure to check out Damage Boost. It's going to be great. And, of course, listen to John's show. I'll let him take the reins there, though.
Take the reins.
Oh, yes. Take the reins. I'm the Dungeon Master for Demon Days, an actual play podcast featuring tieflings as the main party members. We just had our first guest last week. Well, depending on the math of this, we were able to get Gordon McAlpin, our artist, for a guest, and that's been really fun. And we're going to get him back for the next session as well. And yeah, definitely check it out.
So that's everything going on at ATH. Be sure to check out the website for any and all other amazing things, including articles and whatnot. Thank you very much for listening. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
Florkin.
Bye.